I'm Claudia Brewster and I'm the course leader for graphic design, creative advertising and visual communication at the University of Gloucestershire.
I'm Kat Mogford. I'm a graphic design lecturer here at the University of Gloucestershire, and this is our presentation, Successful Steps to Employability and Lifelong Learning for the conference.
So we began our pedagogic research by defining the problem that we wish to address. So through research and through things like course rep meetings and module reviews, there was a recurring theme in the fact that assessment processes could be clearer and more representative of our students' professional skills and the professional skills that they'd use in industry. So in order to inform the problem and address the issues, we held lots of consultations. We started with our student cohort, which is where we got the most valuable information. We spoke to our colleagues and peers at the university to ask them if there were any improvements that they could consider. And we also consulted industry contacts into what they were looking for from graduates. So you'll see on this slide that we've shown the previous assessment process, which relied on the learning outcome titles and broader descriptions adapted for each level of study. But from the learning outcome titles alone, the goals were not very clear and the progression wasn't always recognised by students at all levels. And these are some of the student pieces of feedback that we particularly reflected on. So not being immediately aware of the difference in expectations between levels on the course, preferring terminology like strategy to research and analysis, strategy being a term that we use regularly in the graphic design industry. And again, focusing more on how concepts and development merge into an iterative concepting process in their final year.
Our ambition with this research project is to ensure that we're positioning it within the broader pedagogic research context. At this stage in our presentation, we'd like to touch upon some of this and place our research amongst the ongoing conversations happening in this field. We have referred to Brookfield's reflective model, where we consulted our own experience and as assessors and module leaders, the feedback of our students and the guidance from peers and colleagues, as well as our own pedagogic research within this project. We believe that practical skills should be reflective of practical environments, and this is something we work hard to ensure our course is doing. Through this research, we are bridging the gap between academic teaching and industry skills, and it is important to note that our methodology for this research includes a dialogue with industry connections to achieve this. We are keen to ensure our pedagogy within taught sessions and within our assessment processes reflects that of industry. This is a key driving force behind our research, and we are addressing this through better use of industry terminology and design processes. Problem solving is an essential skill for designers, and we encourage this through our teaching methods. At assessment, it is important that this is being acknowledged, and our current proposal does this by rewarding a comprehensive design process at all levels. We've also been careful to ensure that within our research we are adhering to QAA benchmarks. It is essential in our view that assessment processes support the teaching and learning environment for our students. In our case, that means bridging the gap between academic teaching and industry practice by allowing students to take more responsibility over their design processes and reflecting this through their learning outcomes. We've looked at Brewster's 3 pillars of assessment, and we see this as being research and theory within our course as the subjectification, technical skills on the course being qualification, and design practice on our course being socialisation. We have conducted an in-depth audit of 50 design agencies, examining their use of the term strategy to inform and substantiate our research efforts aimed at refining the language in our learning outcomes. This audit involved a thorough review of each agency's website, as well as analysis of the job titles held by their team members. This audit comprised a diverse selection of agencies, predominantly based in the UK, with a presence of renowned agencies from overseas. Our choice of agencies within this audit was deliberate to provide a well-rounded and representative sample of agencies that our students may realistically aspire to join upon graduation, thereby ensuring the relevancy and applicability of our research sources.
So after these layers of consultations and research, we began to propose a solution. And the solution had to resolve all of the issues that we'd addressed and all of the things that we'd picked up within our research. So you can see that what we presented to our students was inspired by each of our discoveries. We thought about this as being a step of progression over levels of study, reflective of the focus on skills, experiments, and specialisms as students refine their studies. As you can see, this was partly why our research is titled Steps, because it was really important for students to recognise that progression over the levels and receive a sense of achievement as they progress their studies. So it feels as though by the time they get to final year, they have 3 core individual and refined skills that then go directly into their roles. We presented these outcomes and this proposal to our students, where we received lots of really positive feedback and some ideas for how to refine the work that we'd done. So students recognised the difference between levels of study a lot more clearly, which of course was a key goal at the very beginning. They felt that the descriptions and titles of the learning outcomes were more relevant to industry terminology, so the industries that they were hoping to join in the future. And of course, that's through the use of the phrases strategy and design process. And they also understood criteria much more clearly. What they really wanted to see next was that the assessment criteria could be adjusted for different modules and more curated to the student experience. And they also questioned whether we needed to title the levels as level 4 skills, level 5 experiments, and level 6 specialisms, which we've all taken into account for our future proposal. Following these presentations to students and the collation of their feedback, we also presented our proposal to our industry colleagues. So these are industry connections of ours and of the courses who we introduced to our students. During one of our networking events, referred to as a speed meet, each of our students was showing their portfolio to the industry visitors and were using the terminology that we'd introduced in these new learning outcomes. So a representative from JKR mentioned that the students' ability to strategize and answer briefs with good strategy was very impressive. So of course the word strategy comes through. And then another industry representative said it was really impressive that they were using terminology like strategy and iterative concepts, which again was a real goal for our second year. And then Sun House representatives said that students really took their journey from brief to solution in a very refined and well thought through manner. So we really consider this as a success in terms of our learning outcomes and what our students were physically presenting and sharing with industry professionals. Based off this success, we then began to present to colleagues. So we were invited to present at a school away day where we consult and share best practice. And this was used as a case study for the TEF, so Teaching Excellence Framework submission for the University of Gloucestershire for this year. So that was very exciting. And we had really good feedback from our colleagues as well. So one of our colleagues said that the proposal would strengthen the understanding of industry terminology and that it offered a clear visual progression. So of course, these were 2 goals that Kat and I really relished. Then they felt that perhaps having fewer and broader assessment criteria may even assist student achievement. So a few of our colleagues noted that having fewer and more robust assessment criteria had actually really improved student outcomes. So this was a new discovery for us, but really spurred us on forward with this proposal. And then other colleagues said that the approach would help us to get greater breadth across the range of marks in our student achievement as well, which again was another thing that was really beneficial to hear and has progressed this case study going forward.
We are carrying out student workshops to define our new learning outcomes and course structure to ensure that any decisions we make regarding these is being supported by student voice and student input. We're also ensuring that we're hearing from relevant industry connections by sending out questionnaires to creative agencies and studios for their thoughts on what defines weak versus strong strategy, what defines weak versus strong concepting, and so on. It is our intention to progress this research and submit our full paper in January 2024. The next steps for our research project is to analyse the feedback that we've gotten so far, refine our solution and measure the results. We'd also just like to say thank you for listening to our presentation, and we are looking forward to contributing to the conference and other conferences in the future. Thank you very much from Kat Mogford
and Claudia Brewster.